On November 24th, 1971, the world witnessed one of aviation's greatest mysteries. A man using the name Dan Cooper boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305 in Portland, Oregon. The flight to Seattle was calm, with just 36 passengers. But as the plane climbed, Cooper quietly handed a note to a flight attendant. That note would spark a chain of events that changed airline security forever. D.B. Cooper became a legend, vanishing into the night and into history. D.B. Cooper was not his real name. The name came from a reporter's mistake. His ticket actually said Dan Cooper, but soon everyone called him D.B. Cooper, and the name stuck. He blended in, dressed in a business suit, black tie with a mother-of-pearl pin, and carried a briefcase. Calm and polite. He ordered a bourbon and soda, paid cash, and seemed like any other traveler. But then, he handed a note to a flight attendant and whispered, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." His poise and mystery made him unforgettable. Cooper's note made his demands clear. He wanted $200,000 in cash, an enormous sum at the time. He asked for 4 parachutes, 2 main parachutes and 2 reserve chutes. He also wanted a fuel truck ready in Seattle for a quick getaway, so the plane could take off again without delay. The flight attendants took his threat seriously. Cooper showed them what looked like red sticks and wires inside his briefcase. The message was clear. He meant business, but he wasn't interested in hurting anyone if his demands were met. His instructions were simple: no tricks, no alarms, and no police at the airport. Cooper stayed calm, even joking with the crew. He ordered another drink and paid his tab, leaving a tip for the flight attendant. He reassured everyone that if they did as he said, nobody would get hurt. The passengers remained unaware of the drama unfolding just meters away in the front of the plane. His demands were specific. Some say this showed he had knowledge of planes and parachuting. Others believe he was simply bold, taking a chance on the unknown. The airline and the FBI moved quickly. They gathered the ransom money from local banks, making sure to record the serial numbers on every bill. The parachutes were rushed to the airport. Police, FBI agents, and reporters swarmed the tarmac, but stayed out of sight as Cooper had ordered. The pilot told passengers there was a minor mechanical problem and they would be landing late. Meanwhile, the airline quietly negotiated with Cooper through the flight attendants, passing messages back and forth. Cooper's calm demeanor never changed, even as hours ticked by. Once the plane landed in Seattle, the money and parachutes were brought on board. Cooper made sure the cabin lights were dimmed and the window shades were closed, so police snipers could not get a clear shot. He let the 36 passengers go unharmed, along with 2 flight attendants. Only the flight crew and 1 attendant remained. The tension was high, but Cooper showed no sign of panic. He simply wanted to get back in the air with his money and parachutes and disappear into the night. It was dark and raining when Flight 305 took off again, this time with only a skeleton crew and Cooper on board. Cooper directed the pilot to fly south toward Mexico City at a low altitude of 10,000 feet, with the landing gear down and the flaps at 15 degrees. These instructions would make the plane slower and, honestly, a bit easier to jump from. He was methodical. He checked the parachutes, tied the ransom money in a bank bag to his waist, and put on dark glasses. The cabin was filled with tension. The crew stayed in the cockpit as Cooper ordered. He opened the rear staircase, a risky move at high altitude and speed. At around 8:13 p.m., somewhere over the dense forests and rivers of Washington state, Cooper vanished. He stepped into the cold, stormy night, leaping from the back of the plane with his loot and a parachute. The plane landed safely in Reno, Nevada hours later. But Cooper was gone, leaving behind only a few fingerprints and, well, a legend. The search that followed was massive. The FBI launched one of the largest manhunts in United States history. Armed search teams combed the thick forests, rivers and mountains near Cooper's suspected landing zone. Helicopters, boats and dogs joined the hunt, but there was just no sign of the hijacker. The FBI interviewed hundreds of suspects and checked every local resident with parachuting experience or a criminal record. For years, agents followed up on every tip, no matter how small. They tracked the serial numbers on the ransom money, hoping someone would try to spend the bills and reveal Cooper's identity. Despite their efforts, there were very few leads. The only evidence left behind was a black tie, 8 cigarette butts, and a mother-of-pearl tie pin found on the plane. The rest of Cooper's gear, as well as the man himself, had vanished. The media coverage was intense. Everyone wanted to know, who was D.B. Cooper, and how had he managed to simply disappear? For nearly a decade, there were no solid clues. Then, in 1980, a young boy digging on the banks of the Columbia River made an astonishing discovery. He found 3 packets of cash, rotten and buried in the sand. The serial numbers matched the ransom money given to Cooper. This find reignited interest in the case. Had Cooper crashed in the river? Had he buried the money and planned to come back for it later? Or did he drop it by accident during his daring escape? The discovery raised more questions than answers. Experts examined the bills. Some believed the money's condition suggested it had been buried for years. Others thought it could have washed downriver from Cooper's jump zone. But there was still no sign of Cooper himself, alive or dead. The bills were a clue, but also a dead end. The mystery deepened and theories multiplied. Many believe Cooper could not have survived the jump. The weather was terrible, cold, rainy, and pitch black. He jumped into dense forest wearing only a suit and loafers. Experts say even experienced skydivers would struggle in those conditions. Some think Cooper landed in the river and drowned, his body lost forever, but others believe in his escape. They point out that Cooper's demands showed knowledge of parachuting and aviation. Maybe he had planned the jump for months. Perhaps he changed his identity, moved far away, and lived out his days quietly, spending the money slowly or burying it for the future. Over the years, the FBI investigated dozens of suspects. Some seemed promising, but all were eventually ruled out. In 2016, the FBI officially closed the case. D.B. Cooper remains the only hijacker in United States history never to be caught or identified. The truth remains hidden. Did Cooper die in the wild, or did he outsmart everyone and simply walk away? The case of D.B. Cooper continues to fascinate. Maybe it's the daring nature of his crime, or the fact that he hurt no one. Perhaps it's the image of a cool, mysterious figure vanishing into the night, outwitting the authorities, and leaving behind only questions. Writers, filmmakers, and amateur detectives have spent years chasing clues and suspects. Theories range from the sensible to the bizarre. Each year, new evidence and new suspects make headlines, but the truth remains just out of reach. The legend of D.B. Cooper has become part of American folklore. People still ask, who was he? Where did he go? Did he survive? The answers may never be known, but the story captures our imagination, reminding us that some mysteries can't be solved no matter how hard we try. So, what do you think happened to D.B. Cooper? Did he die in the wild, or did he get away with the perfect crime? The case may be closed, but the legend lives on, inviting us all to wonder and to dream.